On today's episode of Gathering the Kings,
We go to a lot of showers and we see a lot of really nice bathrooms, and a lot of these showers are not waterproof correctly. And we have to tear out a brand new shower because it's leaking.
yeah,
So I make sure that my guys are trained with waterproofing and that they do a really solid job with waterproofing. And the office understands all the components of it, how to. The education is huge with my team. It really is.
You are listening to Gathering the Kings with Chaz Wolfe, featuring fellow 7, 8, and even 9-figure business owners who have real battle scars from business and life, but have prevailed as the king that they are designed to be. We welcome high-performing entrepreneurs to the stage in order to reveal the real of the real on what it takes to build a successful business today. We dissect the good and bad decisions they've made along the way that give a true and accurate picture of the journey of success and how you too can get there. Through this dialogue, you will learn the value of growing your network and surrounding yourself with power players and kings like today's guest. Grab your pen and notebook because we're about to dive in.
what's up, everybody? Chaz Wolfe, Gathering the Kings podcast. Today on the King stage, I've got Jeff Currin, my brother. How you doing?
Chaz, what's up, man? Everything's good.
We were just talking about our beards. You're sweating, but we're talking about our beards. For the listeners that are listening on Spotify and Apple, this dude right here has got another great beard. This is like a bearded podcast today.
It is. And I take pride in my beard just like you do. So
Exactly. I'm thinking that maybe this show, we don't have any sponsors. Maybe we should get a beard oil or some sort of a beard company to sponsor this episode. We're so looking good over it.
yeah, I got a buddy named the Bearded Bricker. He takes a lot of pride in his beard too here in Dallas. So I think we could probably
imagine it would be difficult to keep a beard in that industry.
Well, my wedding picture back here behind me, almost all of us have beards. So
Yeah, that's my people. I'm gonna have to meet your people.
yes, sir.
What kind of business do you have, Jeff?
We do residential remodeling. We do some commercial remodeling. We do some real estate investing, but our primary business is residential remodeling. Kitchens and bathrooms is probably 85% of it.
I love it. And you've got a specialty inside of that even, right?
We started in tile. That's where we cut
Yeah.
our teeth is tile. And I think that's what most people hire us for is the detailed tile work.
Yeah.
Really big, elaborate showers, a lot of patterns, a lot of deco, the fine cuts, the miter cuts,
Yeah.
all the stuff that makes the shower look, premium and top notch. That's our specialty.
Yeah. It's obviously I'm in Kansas City and you're in Texas, so I couldn't have the opportunity to hire you, but we just had a home built, and it is just as you just said. One of the highlights of the home, as we're taking friends through or folks that want to see it, is our master shower and I wouldn't have thought about it because I'm not like, I'm in and out for 2 minutes. Like, what's a shower to me, But people walk in and there's just certain places in the house, and this is absolutely one of them, where they go, wow. And it's the tile, it's the detail, it's the pattern, it's the size. It's like a grand entrance to the shower.
That's why people have tile inlays in their entryway. That's why people have big tile mosaic fireplaces. And, it's just the focal point of a lot of things. The backsplash, all your really luxury things are tile related. You can have nice carpet, you can have nice wood floors, but
Right.
the tile is really where the luxury comes in the kitchens and bathrooms.
It's so funny that you're saying this, and we don't have to hang on this point for very long, but I think it's good for the audience and also even folks that that listen to this. When I think about my home now that you say it, those those places that I just described where the wow comes out, it's those places that you just said. It's the master bath with the tile, it's the kitchen backsplash, and it's the tile behind our fireplace. Incredible.
Yes, sir.
All right,
It's the
dude.
details.
Yeah, it's the details. And like you said, it's the upscale perspective that it works. Well, you're obviously doing more than that. But man, it sounds like that's like the hot spot for you. I want to know.
Clients need more than that. Clients need more than that. That's how you get a lot of your tile jobs is they don't want to go find a plumber. They don't want to go find an electrician. They don't want to go find a
Right.
painter. They want to talk to one person, and that one person can do everything. So they hire you to do all of it. And
Yeah.
again, the finished product is the tile work. That's the most the most visible thing is the tile. So, people look for somebody who can do everything encompassing, and
Right.
that lands us our really big projects, really,
Yeah.
really big projects. So,
Yeah, and I want to talk about this here in a minute because obviously what you're describing is this natural progression in business. You got started, you cut your teeth, like you said, and then you figured out that there's more to the story of what your capabilities are, what your team can handle. You as the owner, your mindset, I'm sure, grew through that process of being able to have this more of a GC perspective. And so I definitely want to get into that. Before we do, though, you've been building this and you've been very successful, and then now you're even continuing to do it. And my question is why? Like, what's the bigger picture for you?
I'm always looking into the future. I, of course, we have to stare at the day to day stuff, but I'm always thinking bigger and thinking more. We've got a big showroom coming that we're building here in Rockwall. So that's, I've had a showroom for 12 years, and just the bigger picture of leaving something for the family, and, having something that's going to be here. We've been leasing a showroom, and that just, it burns me up every month I pay rent. It burns me inside. So,
Right.
this showroom we're building now is the thing that's going to be left, to the family, and make it a family business for years to come.
Yeah. What about family has you, I mean, pushing so hard? I mean, obviously, I'm sure we can come up with a lot of cliche, things, but like each one of us have that little burning thing inside of us. And for you, family, what does that mean? What does that look like in your world?
Three kids, with two college graduates. The idea that they can continue on what we've started, and,
Yeah.
my wife works with me, but she has her own stuff too. So, we're both very self-motivated, very entrepreneur type
Yeah.
people. And the two of us, when we came together, it really made a team that was able to take things to the next level, and really push, our business up the ladder. And
Yeah.
the type of projects we've been taking recently are it just scaled amazing. Honestly, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
You've hit on a point here that, sometimes we get to, sometimes we don't, depending upon the guest, but this decision of the spouse or, a partner, significant other, yeah, I feel the exact same way what you just said. Like, I know that I can run way faster because of my wife, even though, like you guys, she kind of does her thing. I kind of do mine. But the way I see it is that she has her lanes, I have mine, and I don't need to worry about her. She doesn't need to worry about mine. So therefore we can just run fast, go fast. Talk about that decision. Like, did you meet her and did you know that ahead of time? Was that like you guys met young like we did? You didn't really have a clue and it kind of just worked out. Like, tell us about that a little bit.
No, we were married. We were married 6 years ago, and I think when we met, we both had kind of been on our own journey, and we
Yeah.
both had kids. And, coming together, that it just made things exponentially grow. And we both had our own houses. We came together. We built one massive house for our family.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's 8,000 square feet. We moved both of our parents in. Uh,
Wow.
so it's, 6 acres, and we just made sure that, like, our whole family was going to be taken care of.
I love that.
And, and neither one of us had a lot of money. It wasn't like we were filthy rich, but being able to come together and use our brains and figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's made us both successful. And, that's what I look forward to, is leaving this for our kids and leaving the business for our kids. And, just not having to see them struggling. Not, like I said, they're both college graduates. They both have, they don't have really good jobs yet, but they both have the potential. The older kids have the potential to do all kinds of things, and they work in the business.
Yeah.
Our daughter takes the professional photographs after the jobs are done.
Yeah.
My son's a really good carpenter. I don't know where he learned it, but he's a really good carpenter. So,
That's awesome.
having those skills, and being business orientated people already,
Yeah. Yeah.
whether they continue our business or not, they're going to be successful. And modeling ourselves for them, I think that's the reward for me. It's not a monetary reward. It's just the fact that I know that they're seeing us be successful and that they're going to be successful because of what they've seen with us.
Yeah. Such a simple principle, but it fires me up just thinking about it. I've got young ones, so we're in different stages, but every decision that I'm making, I'm going, okay, how's this going to affect the next 10, 20, 40 years? What are my grandkids going to think about this? That's tough to be able to apply that level of thinking to the day to day.
Grandkids, you're making me sweat. That's that's a tough one. Well,
Yeah, well, because it for you, it's like, I don't want to say around the corner, but in comparison to me, it's around the corner. And so maybe it's a little easier for me because it's still like out there. I can talk about it and not have to worry about it anytime soon.
well, it's obvious with my gray and your non-gray that I'm a lot closer than you. So
Hey, but that's the natural progression, like having kids myself, I have been able to have the perspective of the interactions of grandparents. And it has given me a whole nother light of going, okay, here's what I want to be when I'm Papa, because it's different. And I love being dad. Don't get me wrong. But to be able to, like you said, take what I've been able to do, learn, and instill into my children, obviously through it's going to look different than to my grandkids because that's going to be their job to instill in their kids. But to watch that flow through multiple generations and then to be able to like connect with the next generation below them, my kids, my grandkids, like I just get so fired up thinking about that. I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of weird.
no, I can tell you, my dad, he worked 45 years for one company, gigantic company, and no college education, just got in there, started working and worked his way up the ladder. When he retired, he helped me with my business. He became part of, because I was a guy in a truck and I had a helper and we
Right.
were just doing jobs and doing our best and,
Yeah.
meeting new people, trying to grow the business. And when he came in, he took it where I was writing all my invoices on pieces of paper and napkins, and he put it on spreadsheets, and he started showing me financially what the business was doing and what it needed to do better. And
Yeah.
his expertise helped me grow my business to where now I can do it on my own. He's fully retired now. He had a heart attack in January and he's recovered. And, now I'm able to take over all of it because of his help. And, that's something that if one of your viewers sees and they want to bring in a family member, got to be a good family member. But if they want to bring in a family member, that's got to be one of the best things you can do is somebody you really can trust, whether it's a dad, an uncle, a brother, somebody who's really, those family members, they can really help you take it to the next level.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, as you said, it's got to be a good one because there's obviously plenty of people out there that say, don't partner with anybody, especially family. And then I talk to guys, that their whole life has been centered around their brother or their uncle, or like you just said, their cousin, whatever. And it's worked out great. So I think there's definitely some key components there that make it great. But you kind of given us a little bit of how you got started a little bit. You inkling that, you were you and a guy in a truck and kind of just going job to job. Tell us why tile. Like, how did you get started? Kind of give us the very beginning. Like, why even owning a business?
I needed a job. Honestly, I applied several places and at that time there was not too many people hiring. I wasn't college educated. I had some college under my belt. But I just needed a job and the guy was willing to offer me 15 an hour. And, that was decent money. So I started just doing tile jobs for him, just cleaning grout and, you know, doing little things. And then he offered me 25 an hour. And at that point, I realized, okay, there's probably a lot of money in this because if he's willing to pay me 25 an hour, I could probably go do this on my own. And I started coaching football, coaching my oldest kid, and I met a plumber, I met another plumber, and I met another plumber, and they all needed tile guys. I said, wait a minute, there's definitely a market for this. I never had thought, tiles just in the shower. I never thought about what the real, money maker was here. And, from meeting all those people, and I've always kind of just been a person who can meet people and just kind of talk to them, and they want to talk to me. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, just growing it that direction. And, I worked for the tile doctor 2 years, and after that I took off on my own, and it's just kind of it's been history after that. As far as, we struggled because when you do good work, everybody wants you.
Yeah.
So, if you don't get the right people to bring along with you, you really struggle.
Right.
You're chasing behind people, you're fixing things they don't do right.
Right.
You're paying people for nothing. So
Yep.
there's a lot of growing pains when you're hiring people in the beginning. But
Yeah.
once you find that good network of people, most of my guys have been with me for 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's just consistency. That's paying people properly. That's making sure they're taken care of on the jobs, and that you do the additional things they need. If they need another bag of material, you make sure they get it. You don't wait. You make sure they get it. That way their job's finished. And,
Yep.
we try to do that as a team. I try to make sure that I have 3 ladies that work in the office, and they're all solid. Like they all have good experience in construction, and I make sure I train them well. That's another thing. I promote the education with my crew. I make sure they understand what they're using. New products that come out, I make sure that they're trained on them. They don't just go out and try it. They need to understand how to use it. And, I send them to classes. There's one product we use is called Sluter.
Okay.
It's the underlayment, the waterproofing for tile, which is the important thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we go to a lot of showers, and we see a lot of really nice bathrooms, and a lot of these showers are not waterproof correctly, and we have to tear out a brand new shower because it's leaking.
Yeah.
So I make sure that my guys are trained with waterproofing, and that they do a really solid job with waterproofing, and the office understands all the components of it, how to use it, what's proper and what's improper, like how to. And the education is huge with my team. It really is.
Yeah. And so you kind of just gave a struggle and a solution all in kind of like the same story there, which I love. The struggle was hiring, which I think everybody can relate to, and especially in today's environment. And so your part of your solution to that, you had mentioned paying good, taking good care of them, making sure that they have what they need, make their job it sounds weird to say as easy as possible, but they're a professional. Let them do what they do, fill in the gaps around that so they can do what they do and not have to be frustrated, is what you're saying. But then the last piece I want to just kind of hone in on, because the listener is the guy in the truck, or maybe they're a guy and 5 guys with them with a truck or 2. They haven't hit the $1 million mark yet. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to pull things from your story here today. They go, okay, what do I need to implement today? Or maybe it's a guy running he's a dentist, and he's got him and he's got one hygienist, and it's the same. It's the same. It's the same across the board, right? And so the last piece, the training piece, you have invested into not only the folks doing the work, but then also the staff in the office that's communicating with the client. You've invested in training. What has been the biggest? I mean, obviously, then they're trained, but like, what's the outcome of that? What's the benefit of spending all this time and money and effort into getting them to a professional level? Is what I'm hearing you say.
I need them to be smarter than the homeowner every time. Every time I want my people to be smarter than the client. Even they don't have to act like it, but they need to understand whenever the client has a problem, they either need to answer and solve the problem, or they need to be able to contact the right person to help solve that problem.
Right.
So them being on site and not having to call Jeff for every single thing,
right,
has been the biggest benefit. If I wasn't training them well, I wouldn't even be able to be on this call, because I would just be answering phone calls, and I wouldn't be able to do anything else productive, because I would just be answering phone calls with problems and how do we fix this and what do we do here. And
right.
So that's been the biggest win for me is that you train them, they can take off on their own. If you don't talk to them for a whole day, nothing went wrong. Everything went smooth, and they were able to solve every problem.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to get into a couple of things here because we're on such a great vein. I want to keep it right here. The mindset of the listener not because necessarily they want to be limited. They're listening because they want to be unlimited. But their limited thinking is what's got them where they are. And so we're trying to open it up for them. Okay. So what I'm hearing you say in all of that is, number one, you had to hire people, because if you hire people, they're doing the task and then they're going to have questions, which then led to maybe you weren't doing the work, but then now your phone's blowing off the hook with questions. So it's like this two-step process of being willing to hire, being willing to give it away, being willing to let someone else be the expert, right? Because you're talking about high-end tile. You're talking about, man, if something messes up, I'm going to have to come in behind. But I'm going to give that away, because if I don't give it away, I can't grow. I can't open my thinking to a bigger way of thinking. But then right behind that is, if you don't train him, do you think he wants to call you all day long? Do you think that is an environment where he constantly doesn't know what to do and he feels great about it at the end of the day when he comes home or she goes home and their spouse says, how was the day today? And they're like, oh, I can't wait to go back tomorrow. I had no idea what I was doing today. I had to call the boss 14 times. Like, no. So then now we're talking about the listener who's like, I can't keep them. I hire somebody and then they just leave, or they just don't know what to do. Like, it's this place of, first they have to hire. Some people are in that place. They just need to go hire. Then there's people who are like, I've tried that and that didn't work. Right. And I'm hearing you say the solution is get in there, train them, spend time, effort, money. You want to add anything to that, please?
Hire warm, where you hire somebody close to you. Now, that may be somebody where you currently, I've seen it very, very well, where you go to a tile store and you find somebody who's very educated in the tile world, but they're not very well taken care of within that business. That would be a warm person to hire. Somebody they know what they're doing. You can get applications from hundreds of people. You can hire all of them. They may not ever work. But if you hire somebody that has experience and and maybe not all the best experience, but you can something you can start with and work with, somebody who's already knowledgeable. One of the ladies I hired, she worked with computers. She had nothing to do with construction, but she bought and sold computer parts online. And I knew that selling, I made her my sales manager, because I knew that selling was in her DNA already. And she knew that how to sell. And from there, I just needed to train her how to do the work and how to
sell our
how to transition from computers to remodeling and construction. There's hiring, is the first key. Once you hire the right people, and then make them all work together, because the three ladies in the office, they can independently call me all day long, or they can just talk to each other and help figure out amongst each other, how to solve different problems, scheduling issues, material pickups. You get materials all in one spot. You can be picked up all at one time for all the jobs. It doesn't have to be, individual pickups for each job. So, figuring out how to streamline things and make things, all in one.
Yeah.
That's it. It's easy at that point. And it sounds easy. You can say anything. It sounds easy, but
but you've done it. And so you can say that not only, I'm sure there's some difficulty. I know everything we've been talking about has been difficult at stages for me, but I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't stop trying to hire or train. No, you can't build a business. You have a job otherwise.
Absolutely. No, once you commit to it, if you stop, the only thing could really stop me would be a health thing. That would be the only thing that would stop me from doing what I do, because I love it. I love making people's houses look nicer. I love the smile on their face. I love all the messages I get to tell people, say, you're awesome. Your team's awesome. I love you're this guy or that guy. Those things are what drives me. I hardly even look at the money in the deal, because I know as long as we're bidding it correctly, the money's there.
Yep.
We'll figure that part out. If we do our job correctly, the money will be there.
Yeah,
so,
100%. Jeff, I want to flip the coin on you. We've been talking a lot about stuff that you've done well and some good decisions that you've made. I love good decisions. I think that our history is made up of a lot of good decisions. Generally speaking, that's the reason why we are where we are. But there's always those bad decisions too. So I want you to give us a good example and a story, maybe with some good details inside of something that just wasn't so hot.
Mm, that hurts. I hired a guy, and like I hired a couple guys. So it's along that same vein you're talking about of hiring. I hired a guy, and he really came in and he knew what he was doing, but he hired the wrong people, and he brought in some really bad apples, and that happened several times along the way. One instance, we were doing a bathroom, and the guy came in and he was doing the work. Everything was going okay with the shower. But one of the guys who was there working with him called me that night. He said, "Jeff, I got something to tell you." And okay, talk to me. It's late. It's 9:00. Tell me what's up. What would you do if you saw somebody steal something on your job? You work for me. Like, tell me what are you trying to tell me?
Right.
The guy was working there today. He took a Rolex. He took a Rolex out of a customer's house. So yeah, I jumped in the car and I went to his house and we got the Rolex back
Retrieved the goods.
and went straight back to the homeowner's house the next morning and put it back where he took it from. And I never told the homeowner. It didn't end bad, but
Yeah.
it's a lot of heartache and a lot of things that, I had that guy working for me for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. He could have did that in many houses.
Yeah.
And you just don't know about people and how they're gonna change. That's why I say hire warm, hire people you feel like
Yeah.
and it can go bad for those people too. But
Yep.
the hiring process here, I'll try people out in certain places, but I won't try them out in houses that are $1 million houses.
Where there's a Rolex.
Yes. Yes. And we do other kinds of projects too. I have to make sure I keep our teams busy.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to make 6 figures or 7 figures doing what we do.
Right.
So, I have to keep them busy, and we'll do a bank or a hotel, or we'll do something we'll lower our price point to work in those places. But our primary business is residential remodeling, high-end remodeling.
Hey, kings and queens, Chaz Wolfe. I want to talk to you about something that's super important to me. We put a lot of time and effort, we meaning myself and my team, into this podcast, into the content that goes out every single day. And if you have been getting any sort of value or insight from this, we want it to be able to reach other business owners too. So we would love if you would like, comment, share, leave a review, post, share again, all of the things on social media, on all the different platforms, or even on the podcast mediums of Apple and Spotify. We would love to be able to get our content into more hands, more entrepreneurs, so they can grow their business as quick as possible. Together, we are building a community of like-minded entrepreneurs who are committed to growing their businesses to new heights. So let's do this. Let's help each other. Let's help each other grow. Yeah, it's good. I mean, I think that what I've learned from that scenario really isn't even the bad hiring decision, because those are going to come. You're not an ape to it now. It's not like it's not like you're immune to it, is what I mean to say. I'm going to hire somebody in the next 20 years, probably multiple, that didn't vet them enough. It wasn't a good fit. They changed, their life circumstances changed, whatever. But what I learned from you in that moment was the speed to action, so the speed to resolve the situation, the conflict, the whatever. And so that part wasn't the mistake. I think that if you had set on it that night, if you had, delayed on like the urgency that you acted immediately with, is what solved the problem.
Absolutely. I could have been arrested. They could have came and drugged me out of the house the next day. I mean,
Right.
there's no telling what could have happened had we waited.
Yeah.
And, we're fortunate the guy didn't sell the thing. He could have went out and sold it for $500
Yep.
or whatever. Anything could have happened, but we were able to resolve that. And,
Yeah.
we didn't have to break any arms or legs or anything. He came and he said,
Peaceful transfer.
I'm really sorry. I just wanted to show it to my wife.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad she got a look.
Yes.
Won't be any more
They have 'em.
opportunities to get a look on these jump sites.
They have them at the jewelry store, so you can take her there.
That's right. Okay, so what about nowadays? So that was back then, but what about now when it comes to making decisions? Is there sort of a discipline or maybe a process that you have when something comes across your desk?
Yeah. I think making decisions now is can we do it or not? Is it a fit or not?
Right.
That's step one. Every lead that comes in, I either field it or I'm part of the discernment on, are we going to use, are they going to use our services, or are we going to, pass on it? And we don't pass on a lot. We may overbid on some things, but we don't pass on a lot. It's generally, how fast does the customer need it? Do they have the budget for our services? And, from there, the lead goes in, we schedule an appointment. Since COVID, I've been a huge proponent of virtual. Send me pictures, send me measurements, send me specs on your materials, and I'll give you a price. And it won't be an exact price, but it'll be a ballpark to know if we're a good fit.
Right.
And I don't mind doing that. I may do 10 of those a week just by, message. We have a lot of realtors we work with. I have a pretty good size Providence Realty Group in Dallas. They send me tons of leads.
Yeah.
We also have several designers we work with, and those generally aren't leads. Those are jobs. When they call us, they give us a list of things. This is what we need to bid on.
What we need.
Yep. They've already vetted the client. They've already gotten their deposit. They've already worked up the scope of work.
Yep.
And then at that point, the client can decide, do they want to scale down, scale up, modify?
Right.
And we work on those projects for up to a year sometimes,
Yeah.
where they're pretty extensive jobs. And, they order things that don't come in for 6 months or a year.
Right.
They have things custom made, and, those are the good jobs. That's our, I'd say, bread and butter.
Yeah.
Where, we come in and we're working, late into the night. The clients move out, they go on vacation for 3 weeks, and we work on their home. So
yeah, that's incredible. I think that obviously the niche that you're referring to is just like where you found home is just in this detail. It's like you even have it on your shirt, just the detail, the type of person that responds to detail, that likes high attention to detail. I think that a lot of people would say, I don't want that client because they're going to be difficult. But I think it can be difficult for somebody who doesn't pay attention.
Absolutely. Lack of supervision, lack of attention to detail, or just lack of skill. Those things will turn you off from doing those kind of jobs. And some people don't like to be trapped in a house for 3 weeks. Some people would rather work on a different job every other day. And that's fine. But our niche is coming in and making sure that, we take care of every detail down to the corners. Like that was our original slogan, was detail style, even the corners.
Yeah.
And
Love that.
I just think that a lot of the guys that work with us, they understand, and they were of course, you come in, you're hesitant on how we work at first, because, these are big jobs and these are really expensive houses, and you got a lot of layers.
Right.
When we get approvals, we're getting approval from a designer, from a homeowner. Sometimes there's other trades, other builders involved in this. And there's a lot of layers to this sometimes, but I think we do a really good job of communicating group messages and making sure that everybody's on the same page.
Yeah. Communication's huge. You're given so many small things, tactically without even knowing it. It's been great. It's flowing right out of you. So thank you. I do want to transition to the speed round. I'm going to kind of come at you in a couple of different angles here. I want to know, if you dwindled your entire business down to one metric, what would you track?
One thing that's really hard to track, but I track happiness.
Okay.
Satisfaction of clients.
Okay.
If I look back at the last 500 jobs we did, how many of those people were happy in the end and how many of those people were unhappy at the end. And generally they're going to argue about their bill if they're not happy. I mean, that's going to be the main part of it. But I would say we're way under 1% on people who are unhappy in the end with their product.
Yeah.
And, that's the metric I look at is, are they satisfied? And every job's not a home run, but if you continue to satisfy people, you're going to continue to grow and continue to get more work and continue to keep that. And if you're working with somebody and it fizzles out and you're like, okay, we don't mesh anymore. It happens. You work with somebody 5 years and then all of a sudden you're just, they want to do something else. You want to do something else. You're not working with them. That happens. But, the metric of happiness, besides looking at the invoices and saying they paid,
right.
Most of those people were 110% happy. Right.
Yeah.
And referrals is probably the other metric too, where
right.
How many referrals do you get from your clients? Because they won't tell their friends if you did a bad job.
Nope.
They weren't
won't.
satisfied. They're not telling the neighbor, the cousin. They're not telling anybody. They'll tell them what a bad job you did, but they won't tell them what a good job you did.
That's right. Jeff, what book would you recommend for a 6-figure business owner to read?
The Bible.
That's a good one. I like that one.
I would say I'm not a huge reader.
Okay.
Just because it makes me sleepy.
Yeah.
I can't make it through a chapter without it.
I relate to that.
but no, I think, the Bible would definitely be one that you can pull a lot of parables out of, a lot of things that, don't make a lot of sense in today's world, but make a ton of sense at the same time where, you find things that, practices like, give something ahead of time. You give your clients, what just something, and they'll take it and say, okay, thank you for that. Now I'm going to give you all the work. We're going to do the entire house.
Right.
And instead of just coming in and trying to get the money and run and, okay, I did the bathroom, I'm done.
Be the minimum.
I look to be these people's contractor for life.
Yeah.
Every time they're looking for something fixed or something. In 2016, we had, and I know this is a little off subject, but we had a hailstorm hit our city, and the hail balls were softballs.
Yeah.
I had so many clients in our city. Our city is 25,000 people or so. I had so many clients in our city. We didn't sleep, and that was literally because family, friends, church members, people I've known for years.
Mm-hmm.
And, they just trusted me with their homes, and they put faith in us to come in and, when those hail balls came through the roof, it damaged bathrooms, kitchens, floors, furniture, complete guts. The whole city had tarps.
Yeah.
And I know in Kansas City, you probably have some wicked weather. We do in Texas too. And, it's just, I think the feeling you get from helping those people and getting them back to, whole again.
Right. Yeah, no, it's good. And you can definitely pick that up from the Bible for sure.
Yeah.
What do you think about networking and or masterminding with other entrepreneurs?
What do I think about it? Oh my God. That's how I grew the business, was meeting plumbers, meeting electricians, then networking with glass guys, shower frameless glass guys. They all need that other trade.
Yeah.
They all work hand in hand. And, you talk to the guys who do the work, but talking to the business owners and telling them that, look, if you're a plumber, you're going to do 80 jobs a year for us or more. And we're going to refer you when we don't want the job, when it's just changing out a water heater or you got a slab leak or whatever the problem is.
Right.
We'll just tell them to call you and use you. And, you're going to get tons of work with us. Just be our referral partner.
Yeah.
And that goes with the the suppliers as well. When you talk about who provides us with the materials, the tile, the setting materials, the grout, those people will give us as many jobs as we buy from them. So if we make home base with one tile company and we buy all our materials with them, every designer that comes in and says, "Do you know any good tile people?" That's who.
Bing.
That's who. Yeah. So
Yep.
we try to attend all of their events. I try to have one of our team members at every casino night or every barbecue or everything that they're going to have. I try to have somebody there to make sure that we're represented, and that if there's an opportunity to keep our name out there and continue business with somebody, we continue. We push for that.
Yep. I love the mindset there. Last question here for you, Jeff. If you lost it all, what would you do?
Well, if you spread it out enough, losing it all is really not an option.
Yeah.
That's
right.
You know, we keep a lot of jobs in progress, and I guess there's always, if I lost it all, it would be my health, because that's the one thing that, what would I do? Somebody would have to take care of me, and then I feel like I've taken good enough care of people around me and my family, and that I feel like somebody would take care of me because I've done my best for them.
Yeah.
So I think I would be okay. I feel like I've built myself up to be okay. And but as
so
far
on the
as
business side, if you have your health intact and you lose it all, it's no big deal because you just do it again.
Yeah, I have the same mindset with tile work as with anything. I tell you, we do a little real estate too.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not a slumlord. We make sure we take care of our houses. We make sure that the people are comfortable. If their AC goes out, fix it right away. And there's no way to lose it all when you spread it out. If your dad's okay and your cousins are okay, and if everybody's doing well, you're not going to lose it all, because you can come right back.
The mindset that I've never had the answer given quite like this, but I want to use some language inside of Gathering the Kings. Obviously, we talk about what it is to be a king, and even the transition from warrior to king. And warrior is pretty selfish, and rightfully so. You got to grow. You got to be selfish for a minute. And you got to grow the business, and you got to get it to a certain point to be able to think about others. And that's really where the king mindset comes in. Is that it's about your team, it's about the clients, about the community, church, your family. Buying back your time, leveraging resources, leveraging key relationships like this. And so everything that you just said about you've been being a king, you've been taking care of people, you've been pouring out when you probably didn't have to, you've been pushing the line and taking care of people over here and putting investment over here and leveraging resource and relationship over here, and here. And so you're right that if it quote unquote all fell away, there would be so many deposits that you've made in your people inside of the quote unquote kingdom, or even other kings. That I love the perspective of like, bro, it wouldn't be a big deal because I just call the neighboring king.
The realtors asked me to get my license. They almost begged me to get my license.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, but you can make so much money. I got to read a book to do that.
I need you to make money when I refer people to you.
I've had the plumbers try to hire me, and I'm like, I understand plumbing. I know plumbing, but I don't want to spend all that time to get a license and then continuing education and all that stuff. I'd rather just hire you to do the plumbing.
Yeah.
But those are you just think of all the options you would have if I lost it all. If Details Tile fell apart, and I had no more jobs, and nobody wanted to hire me. Well, then, I would network with somebody else, and we would start over again and do it all over again. I mean, that would be the only option. So,
yeah, 100%. And you and me would always have an option to be some sort of a spokes team for a bearded company.
That is an option for sure.
Jeff, you've been incredible. How can the listener connect with you?
That is another way that we market, which we don't spend any money on this really. I mean, besides I pay my daughter to do our social media.
Right.
We Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, TikTok. We do all of them. And I think it's connected with the younger audience, and that younger audience grows up and have houses. I mean, they love it. They absolutely love it. They've never seen anything like it. And, I think TikTok has really exploded. And
Yeah.
I think that just the ability to reach each other through social media.
Yeah.
Details Tile. That's all you have to look for is Details Tile. Search any of the platforms, Details Tile, and you'll see us.
Cool. Yeah, you've been insightful, purposeful in your answers. You've been a king, my man, and I appreciate your perspective, even just your time here today. We wish you nothing but success, blessing on your family, your ginormous estate, your business, your team, all of it, man. I love it. Thanks for being here.
Hey, Chaz, Kansas City is really not that far. So whenever that new house starts to fall apart, let me know and I'll be there. Like, I'll be there. I'll be there.
I got several guys in my mastermind group who are coming here, hopefully to do a water feature. And I got another guy gonna, work out some outdoor things. I don't know what he's gonna put in, but yes, and yes, we will continue the relationship for sure. Again, thanks for being here, brother.
Whatever you need, let me know.
Thank you for listening to Gathering the Kings today. I hope that you were able to pull out a few nuggets to go apply into your business right away. More importantly, though, I hope that you're realizing that it takes more to be successful than just being by yourself, doing it all on your own, carrying the weight all by yourself. What I have realized, not only in my own journey from multiple businesses and multiple different industries, and now interviewing literally over 200 or 300 other very successful 7, 8, and 9-figure business owners, is that it's tough to do it alone. And so Gathering the Kings literally exists to bring together successful entrepreneurs. In fact, we are putting together 1,000 kings, specifically who are grateful but not done. We're intentionally assembling kings who fight tooth and nail for their business, family, and communities. And here's what we believe, that in the pursuit of excellence in those areas, that it ignites within us the responsibility to govern power and forge a lasting legacy. So if that relates and resonates with you, and you know that you need people around you, sharp, qualified, other very successful business owners, I want you to go to gatheringthekings.com. I want you to take a look at what we're doing and see if it makes sense for you to be part of our pursuit to 1,000 kings. Talk soon.